built for four. So there's throughout the day, Butch and Sonny are going to have to wait just a little bit. Also, they're really experienced. The whole team is really experienced by now. This is our third launch attempt, so I'm sure we're going to stay ahead of the timeline today, which is important in our business for sure.
And it really has been impressive to watch them go through these different launch attempts. Everybody just acting so professionally and doing things as if they're second nature, because at this point it is, right? Even prior to the first launch attempt, all of these integrated teams have been rehearsing together for a very long time.
Indeed, and today is a great day to put on a spacesuit and climb into a spacecraft and go launch.
And so speaking of today, Butch and Sunny, they woke up just after 3:30 this morning, and then they went in for some medical checks, followed by a weather briefing, and then they started to suit up. And they've been in quarantine now, Mike, since April 22nd. We know what they did between launch attempts 1 and 2. You know, they were able to return to Houston to help troubleshoot some of the issues that we had between those two launch attempts, spend some more time with family, still in quarantine, of course. And then the time between our attempt on Saturday and now, do they have some time to enjoy some of the beautiful sights here we have in Florida?
Oh, absolutely. I talked with Butch and Sonny yesterday, and with their two flight doctors and the flight surgeons. And Butch was able to go fishing yesterday. He saw the sunrise. He saw manatees. The alligator was chasing after his bait, apparently. And Sonny was able to take a nice run along the beach. And she ran in. Well, didn't run into. She saw some sea turtles, and you know, those are very beautiful things here in Florida. And we have a lot of great things in Houston, a lot of great nature things, but Florida is indeed special. And Butch and Sonny got this last taste of Earth, if you would, of terrestrial life before they get to go to space and be away from all of these things such as weather and sand and sea turtles.
And to be clear, all of the things that you just described right here at Kennedy Space Center, you know, Kennedy Space Center is huge, and it does afford us some of those beautiful opportunities you said, fishing and also running. So still in quarantine, still abiding by the rules, you know, required of them before launch, but they did get to enjoy some downtime.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to take anything up to the International Space Station. Those people aboard Space Station have been away for months from terrestrial germs, and we have an important mission to do. So anytime we're down for a day or two, that has big impacts to the mission. So we do maintain the strict standards of quarantine, not just because they tell us, but because it's a good idea.
We have teams at Mission Control in Houston monitoring Starliner's flight to the space station. Let's check in first with NASA's Brandy Dean and Boeing's Jim May.
Thanks so much, Dee, and welcome back once again to Mission Control at NASA's Johnson Space Center. I'm NASA's Brandy Dean.
And I'm Jim May with Boeing. The flight control team here in Houston, they're well rested and they're ready to get back to work preparing to see Starliner safely through its first ascent with crew on board. The team's been training pretty hard for this. We've got hundreds of simulations and now a couple live scrub launches, so they're ready to get Starliner into space.
Yeah, I would say they're not going anywhere until Starliner does. The flight control team is again led by Flight Director Mike Lammers, who you see here in the view sitting next to Flight Director Rick Henfling. Henfling's working alongside him to keep an eye on the weather. And then further down the row on Lammers' other side, we have Canadian Space Agency astronaut Joshua Kutrick acting as today's Capcom. You'll hear him communicating with Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams on the team's behalf. He'll be filing all of his experience away as he prepares for the next Starliner flight. He's assigned as a mission specialist on Starliner 1.
So the team here today returned to their consoles around 4 a.m. Central this morning, and they've been working closely with the teams in Florida. Just under 4 hours before launch, once everything was activated and ready for them, the Boeing Mission Control Center team in Florida handed control of Starliner over to the folks here in Houston, and they'll be the ones sending any commands to Starliner from now on.
But if all goes well, you won't hear too much from them today as they move through the countdown with their colleagues in Florida. Their time to shine really starts at liftoff, but some of the key calls they'll make before include switching Starliner from ground power to battery power, and with the crew's help, activating the launch abort system. And of course, Lammers will also be speaking on behalf of his team when he gives a go or no go to the launch conductor during the final poll 7 minutes before launch.
At liftoff, they'll work hand in hand with the ULA team, who's controlling the Atlas rocket, lifting Starliner into orbit. For the first minute and a half of flight, We'll have Atlas and its solid rocket boosters providing the initial lift to get Starliner going. And then in the final stretch of launch,